Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ironworker Gaming channel. I am Ironworker814, a mediocre Destiny player, and on this channel we are presenting Destiny 2 content from a mediocre or low skill player's perspective. If it sounds like this content's gonna be right in your wheelhouse, how about giving me a like on the video and a subscribe to my channel? It would really help me out. If it's not quite in your wheelhouse, how about like and subscribe anyway? That would be super cool of you. So, what we're going to be looking at today is trace rifles in Destiny 2. Rather than reviewing each weapon individually, I kind of just lumped all the trace rifles into the same category, and we'll kind of be taking a look at them all at once. I don't think any of them are unique enough to warrant their own review or video, but if something changes in the future, we can go through them one by one. That's cool with me. So if you haven't used one of these things in Destiny 2, you're probably thinking, what the heck is a trace rifle? Well, plain and simple, it's a laser gun. Now when these first launched with Destiny 2, I thought these were an awesome concept. New, unique archetype, and they're laser guns. Laser guns are cool, right? The one I distinctly remember using in the Crucible was the Wave Splitter. I can't remember if it came out with Warmind or if it came out in Forsaken. But when it dropped, it was a PlayStation 4 exclusive. And when people got their hands on this gun, it was everywhere in the Crucible, and it was melting faces. You also had the Prometheus lens, which was good in Trials of the Nine for that one weekend when it wasn't doing what it was supposed to do. But that was about it for that gun at that given time, because once it was brought back into the scope and scale that it was supposed to be performing at, it was kind of doo-doo. And now we find ourselves here at the tail end of Season of Dawn, asking ourselves, do trace rifles have a place in the Crucible? Well, let's get into it and find out.
Zone C lost. I envy your strength, Titan. Zone advantage is yours.
Okay, since this is not a full-blown weapon review video, we are just going to touch on each one of these trace rifles real briefly. First up, you have the Cold Heart. It is the arc trace rifle. It'll do more damage with sustained damage. Longer you're on a target, more damage it does. Next up, Prometheus lens. This is your solar trace rifle. It'll create a little damage field around a target that targets around it will take a few ticks of damage if they're standing in it. Next, we have the Wave Splitter. This is the Void trace rifle. Its damage will oscillate up and down with the amount of time you're holding the trigger. Lastly, we have the Divinity trace rifle. It shoots stuff and does things. I don't know, because I'm a scrub and I don't have this trace rifle, so I will not be able to speak on this one in this video. Now, instead of doing the whole pros cons verdict thing that I normally do with most of my weapon reviews, since we're just looking at trace rifles lumped all together, we're kind of going to do good, bad, and ugly with this. Because there is one major pro to using these trace rifles, but there is also one really ugly aspect that we're going to touch on last. You read that correctly. Blazing fast time to kill. We're talking 0.73 with precision damage and 0.93 hitting all body shots. These melt Guardians quick. And if you're looking at the Cold Heart, that time to kill dips a little bit lower, looking at like the 0.6 something time to kill range, because of the sustained damage increasing its damage. These could be a fantastic weapon to use if you are good at tracking and staying on your target. They shoot at 1,000 rounds per minute, and all three have a magazine size of 100. They are also affected by auto rifle mods. So if you have an auto rifle scavenger mod, it'll increase the amount of trace rifle ammo you pick up when running over a brick. Now because of this rate of fire and its lightning quick TTK, these are great for those 1v1 engagements. If you see the Guardian first, you land the first damage, and you stay on target tracking him as he moves, there's hardly any gun in the game that will best you when wielding a trace rifle. The first trade-off for having that fast TTK is going to be the range. You're probably going to be looking to use these just slightly further than your standard SMG range, which I don't think is doing the weapon a lot of justice. I feel like it should be reaching out at least to auto rifle ranges. I mean, it's a laser beam. It should at least reach as far as an auto rifle can reach without the damage fall off. Using these trace rifles in their effective range is going to get you in some precarious situations sometimes. First off, you are well within high impact fusion rifle range, and air intel will delete you. Also, a good shotgun user who knows how to use the cover around them and knows how to close gaps might be able to sneak up next to you and dump one in your chest before you can put enough damage on them to put them down. Also, you are in the range of the last word, which is one of the few weapons that can potentially out DPS you in these close mid-range engagements. Next drawback to touch on is going to be the fact that great target tracking is required to hit these time to kill values. Now, maybe not if you take an enemy off guard and he's standing still, or if your enemy's a complete moron and is running straight at you, but moving targets can be very hard to track. Targets that are running, sliding, jumping, or strafing wildly can be really hard to stay on. On console, this target tracking isn't quite as great of a feat as it is on PC, because on consoles you have that extra aim assist that helps you stick on your target a little better. On PC, for you to stay on target, you have to be precise with your mouse movements and target tracking. The game is not going to help you with trace rifles on PC. Last drawback to get into with trace rifles before we get into the major glaring issue with it is the fact they are all exotic and they all go in your energy slot. Now this just kind of handicaps you and limits you to what kind of loadout you can run while using a trace rifle.
Zone A lost.
Now the last problem with trace rifles, and the reason I don't use them very often, is the fact they use green ammo. Now when I'm picking up green ammo and I'm using a weapon with green ammo, I basically want that to be reserved for one-hit kill weapons. Shotguns, sniper rifles, fusion rifles, anything that can down a Guardian instantly. Now you could argue that the usable range of this weapon is kind of the trade-off you're getting for it spending green ammo. But is it really worth taking away your one-hit kill potential and stuffing it in a gun that fires like a low-range auto rifle or a high-range SMG, regardless of the time to kill on the weapon? And you really don't want to try running two weapons that are consuming green ammo, because every time you pick up a brick, half is going to the one weapon, half is going to the other. You're probably not going to have enough rounds in either weapon at any given time to do what you need to do. On top of that, I don't think the ammo economy for these weapons is doing it any favors. You start with 50 rounds in the magazine. Now, it usually takes me, and remember, I'm a lower skill player, I'm not terrible, but I'm not a top tier player by any means. It usually takes me 18 to 25 of these rounds to down an opposing player. So, with a clip of 50, I can get 2 players max with this weapon. Which you're probably thinking, Ironworker, that's fair. You get 2 shots with all your other one-hit kill guns. 2 in the shotgun, 2 in the fusion, 2 in the sniper. The problem comes when you're picking up a green ammo brick. Now, when a Guardian goes down and he drops that brick, inside it is a variable amount of ammo, determined by how much green ammo he was carrying at the time he died. Now with these trace rifles, you might pick up that green ammo brick and get 50 rounds. Fantastic. But you might also run over a green ammo brick and get 12. And 12 rounds, in my experience, is not enough for me to down another Guardian. Now, I don't necessarily think trace rifles are in a bad spot, but they're not in a good spot. They're kind of in a weird spot. I mean, how many people are really using trace rifles in the Crucible? I rarely see a trace rifle. But what could Bungie do to get these guns a little more balanced out and make people want to use them again? It's a tough spot because of that super fast time to kill. Anything you do to these weapons could make them overpowered, and you might see them running rampant in the Crucible with a few minor range adjustments or ammo economy adjustments. It's just a tough spot that these weapons are in, and they're probably going to stay there for the foreseeable future. That is going to wrap up another weapon review. Well, not really a weapon, an archetype review. That's going to wrap up another archetype review. Please remember to like and sub if you enjoyed the video, because you would be way cool if you did. Also, if you want to comment down below and give me your thoughts on trace rifles as to what could be done with them or what you think of them currently, that would be awesome also. Also, catch Ironworker 814 live streaming my super awesome fantastic gameplay on Twitch, or you could follow me and message me on Twitter, because I think the only one person following me is a bot account, so that's kind of awkward. But thank you again for spending a little bit of your day with me. You guys are awesome, and I will see you on the next one.